Yo guys, what's up? Shadow here, and welcome back to another episode of Space Engineers with our fancy new light system thingy. Today, since the hangar is, well, technically more or less finished, we shall continue further on downwards to... Well, actually we still have a lot of room down here, so we can get a bit creative, I have the feeling. But I think the next space I want to create, since we already have some sort of cargo space, that would have also been something we could have put down there. But I want to put down a refinery space, so or a manufacturing space, facility, whatever you want to call it. So the access will be provided from here, from this staircase. And it's gonna go down here. You know what? Maybe we should probably just plonk a stair down, or at least a few pieces of stairs, so we can get a bit of a visualization of where the staircase is actually gonna come out of. And then we shall see how it looks. So yeah. Let me just put that down. I think we'll have to go with at least this much of staircase. Now let me just get a refinery. No, yes, a refinery. That's the biggest thing that we would have to put in here. Now if we want to put this on this way, let me just put that in here, and we would need like one more piece of stair. Well, potentially, unless I do it in a way that I just have in my head right now, but we'll see about that in a second. But yeah. Let me... I think the best thing, or the thing that I should do first, is to continue with this, basically with these wall pieces here. So I can see how much spacing we have for these shenanigans, for this room down here. So that's the first thing I'm gonna do right now. Just gonna weld these bits and pieces and draw them down a bit, and then we're gonna see what's gonna happen. So actually, just before I started recording, I watched like a little press conference. Our government, the Swiss government, just had a press conference, like just ended like 5 minutes ago. Well, at least when I was recording. When you're watching this, it's a bit longer than that, of course. But yeah, you know, because of COVID-19 and stuff like that, I had a press conference because, not necessarily because the numbers are rising again, but because they're been stationary on a very high level, which is not good as either, you know, that's not a good thing. So today more things were decided. I think if I heard that correctly, there's like now all stores that don't sell essential goods are going to be closed for at least like a month. I think it's until end of February. This is planned with the option of relinquishing these things, these laws a bit earlier, but yeah. So that's gonna happen, and then you can only meet with up to 5 people in private, and also in public, no more than 5 people, like in a public space, you know. Masks everywhere. Also, if you work in an office, doesn't matter if you have enough space in between you. So, you know, quite expansive things, but yeah, it's a bit weird in Switzerland, to be honest, because there's a lot of things that happen on like a federal level, where the federal government comes in and says that is what we're gonna do, and then there's a lot of things that are not decided on a federal level. It's more decided on a canton level, and a canton, if you're not familiar with the structure of Switzerland, it's kind of like the states in the United States, essentially. They're, you know, it's really like the United States, but on a very much smaller scale, of course. But yeah, they have a lot of autonomy in situations like these, you know. And so there's a lot of stuff that is really paradox, that you have basically all the restaurants and bars and cafes, they all have to close, and people have to work from home if it's possible. But a lot of schools, obviously they don't have an infrastructure to do like distance learning, which is kind of unfortunate. I would have hoped that since the first outbreak in frickin', what was it, March, April? Oh, soon is going to be a year ago, that a lot of institutions would have learned that, being prepared for something like this with a digitalized system where you can use things from afar, from home, especially in a school environment, that it would be good to have something like that on standby, because I don't want to be a pessimist, but it's not going to be the last pandemic this world is going to see, for sure, so I don't know, maybe I'm underestimating what it means to make something like that happen, but I mean, sometimes it just feels like there is institutions that have totally slept on this whole situation. I have a friend of mine that has to go to how do you say that in Switzerland? You after the normal school to ninth grade, a lot of people do not go to like university and stuff like that. There's a lot of people that do, I think apprenticeship is the best word for it, where they basically they train the job they want to become at a company, and then half time they're working at that company learning the trade, and the other half of the time they're at school, where they learn a lot of more work-related stuff. And a friend of mine just retrained to be an IT technician. I think he was metal worker before. I think that's how you would say it in English. And he works at a place where they said, yeah, do everything from home office if possible. And that's good, because they can do that. It's IT, IT is a lot of stuff can be done from home. That's the great thing about this job that I'm working in, this job field, IT. I'm so grateful that I can just work from home. It's a huge privilege, but yeah. And so from a company's standpoint, he is basically not forced, but it said you need to work from home if it's possible. But then half the time he has to actually go to school, and it gets into contact with so many people nonetheless. So it's kind of pointless, really, for him to this home office thing. It doesn't work, because there's just a part that he has to do that makes him come into contact with so many people. And it's not like you can travel outside of normal travel hours where there's not many people on the train. That's what I can do for the most part, which is very good. When I have to go to customers, often it's early in the morning or in the later evening hours. So when I travel, it's mostly in times where there's not many people around. So I can really have a big distance to other people. I always wear masks and stuff like that, But if you go school hours, Jesus Christ. I mean, I think I was forced like once or twice in the last few months to actually travel during like real work hours. That sounds weird, but yeah. And my God, there's no semblance of having like, what is the recommended distance? 1.5 meters? Not a chance. Not a chance in hell. Not even close. And I know, yeah, masks protect, but come on. That's the reason why there's a lot of infections, because there's still so many people that have to go to work every day. And of course, not everything can be worked from a digital standpoint. That just doesn't work. There is a lot of stuff that has to be done, in person. Absolutely. But then it would be so much better if the ones that actually would have the ability to do things from a remote location, that they actually would have the infrastructure to do so. But yeah, it sometimes feels like since March there's a few groups and people who have completely forgotten that they would have been a good idea to maybe set something up. But yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, honestly, to be fair, on the other side, I'm probably horrendously underestimating the amount of work it takes to set something like that up. But, you know, it's just weird. Also, it's weird. They said, like, essential shops are opened, you know, in the press conference. Like shops that sell grocery, you know, food, obviously. Then, like DIY stores, you know, home improvement stores. Okay. Then, and then the last thing was like flower vendors, and I'm like, what? I mean, look, plants are cool. Okay. The only plant I keep at home is a cacti, a cactus, because that's the only thing I actually manage to keep alive because I'm a very forgetful person. But are flowers really the most important thing that we need to keep selling? I don't know. Maybe I'm not seeing something that obvious there. But Jesus Christ, it's just a weird thing, you know. I don't know. It's just it's just struck me as such a weird thing. But hey, there you go. So, but let me not bore you with any more of this COVID stuff, because my god, I'm sure all of you had enough of that in the last, well, I wanted to say months, but let's be honest, it's almost years at this point, or it feels like it anyway, but yeah. Well, again, for me, not much is gonna change, really. I barely go outside anyway, even before COVID, to be honest, but yeah, you know. But still, it's crazy. It's a crazy situation, especially for like, you know, service personnel, like bars and cafe owners and people who work there. It's ridiculous. Especially because for months they have been told like, oh yeah, you need to now do this to remain open. You know, you have to install these plexiglass walls and you have to make sure that there's so much room between every table, and they complied, at least most of them, I think, complied with every step of it, spent so much money on, you know, staying compliant, and then basically at one point it's just like, yeah, nope, can't stay open anymore. It's frustrating, something like that. It's very frustrating, but yeah. It's a difficult situation for a lot of people, I suppose. So, anyways, so we got the, well, at least most of the, let's say, the confinements of the lower, what's it called, the lower deck, I'm not sure how I'm gonna call this, manufacturing area or something along those lines. It's gonna be something like that. But yeah, we got that now mostly out of the way. If I wouldn't delete it by chances. There you go. Now, what I have in mind is kind of like a two-tiered room, so that it kind of fits neatly with the way it's set up right now. Because what I don't like to do is to append like one more stair block here that doesn't fit this angle or doesn't fit the style of this stair. That's kind of something I want to avoid if I can. However, what I could do is I could technically make it so that, for example, the floor is right here, but only on the outer edges, and then in the middle there's like it goes a little bit down, and then in there, nestled in there, are these refineries, which would then fit from the height, you know? If they're like one block down, then they would fit perfectly in. So yeah, maybe that's how I'm gonna do it, but I just saw it, I have to kind of weld these inner corners as well, otherwise I do not get the right scale of the room. So let me weld these real quick, and then we'll have the kind of a good knowledge on how big this is gonna be, actually, the room, you know? Because obviously we have to weld these, otherwise we won't have an airtight room. Actually, this is technically not necessary, so let's not weld it yet. But at least this here needs to be done. And then I think I will drag this down one more layer, just so to see where the lower wall is gonna be at. So let me do that real quick. Let's add one more layer to this. One or two, we'll see. There we go. Also, now that we've done this, we kind of also start to see how this is flowing here, this kind of edge. I'm thinking about maybe working something here, if I can round this off a little bit, because it looks a bit ugly, this part here, because it's very blocky in comparison to the rest of the ship, which, of course, right now everything is kind of blocky, but everything else has a good chance of getting rounded off quite neatly. But that thing there is very blocky, so yeah, maybe I need to make it flow a little bit different there, you know. But I guess we can change this afterwards, because it's the most outermost layer. And, well, I'll have to check which of these wall pieces is, like, important for the structural integrity of the ship, essentially, you know. I'm pretty sure if I cut this... Oh, actually, see? We could, at least this layer here is open to change. Oh well, we'll do this later. Okay. So let's add another layer here. There we go. And now we'll add the inner corners. I think that would actually fit quite nicely. Oh, whoops. That's not how I wanted to do it. There we go. Yeah, I kind of have the feeling we have to pull down the walls all the way down to really know where to place the refineries. Otherwise, we'll have a problem. Guess we'll have to do that then. Okay, but if we assume that this here, this is the level where this floor is gonna be on. And then on this floor, basically on this height, we're gonna have like controls and stuff like that. And then in the middle, there's gonna be the actual manufacturing pieces that are a bit like, you know, sectioned off, because you technically don't need to walk to these, only in maintenance cases. So I think that would look quite nice. But again, we'll pull this down one layer further, so we have the bottom of the floor, and then we can start to put in stuff. I think that will work. Let's properly weld this before we do anything else. Whoop, there you go. Do not hit my head if it's anything possible. Here. Right. And then also we have to see about the connection, the conveyor connection, and where exactly we're gonna lead into the next lower floor. That's also a question unanswered yet, but we'll see. We'll see. Right. T key, yeah, deactivated. Good, thank you. There we go. So here on that layer, that will be the floor of the lower tier, if that makes any sense. Okay, let me just put all of these wall pieces in, and then I might just start putting in the floor pieces, like bit by bit. Just like so. Well, actually, here will be just filler, I suppose. But yeah. Alright, let me just put in this middle strut here for now. Some of that might get deleted later, especially... Yeah, you know what? Let's cut off this part, because that's where the conveyors need to run through anyway. So, let's see. So if we wanted to have this in a way that it looks good and has enough space to place things on both tiers, I think at least we'll have to make the upper tier this wide as well. So a 3 wide space up here, which would lead to a 3 wide space down here as well. I'm just gonna put in the flooring in general here for now, but then on top of that there's gonna be another layer of floor, and then in the middle here, this is where the actual machinery is gonna stand. So for example, I'm actually not 100% sure. Maybe this should actually be over here and kind of like integrated almost into this conveyor system here. I think that would be more sensible to like basically cut this off. And then let me just place a few blocks here. So we get a bit of a thing that we can place stuff on. So if we place a refinery, that would have to go... Let me see. The connector is... Yeah, it's on the back square. So like... Nope, that's 1 block too far. Like this. So this would be connected to the conveyor system. And then in the back here, we can still draw it down to the next layer. And here next to it, we could have some assemblers. And I don't want to have a huge multi-refinery in here. This is just like a backup refinery. Just so you have the possibility to refine on the fly. You know? At least that's the plan. But yeah. I think that could work. And then we just have to figure out where to put the vents. But yeah, that should be possible the way I just thought of it. Then we'll have some... The staircase to the next lower level then will be not at the conveyor side of the ship. It will be on the other side. Completely on the other side. So the staircase will not run down the back spine, it will actually run down the front. It's kind of like a change up, but that's okay, I think, you know? Changing the architecture of the ship a little bit, but yeah, again, I think that's fine. So, yeah, let me just weld at least this side real quick. Or at least a few blocks here, so I can get like a semblance of what this is gonna look like. Actually, let me just weld the whole side here. And then we'll just replicate that on the other side then, if it looks good enough. But yeah, I think that's the way to go in this case. Let me grab a bunch more steel plates. There you go. Alright, the staircase is actually coming here. Right. And then the front. There you go. Now, let me go in here. Oh, actually, yeah, probably this row should be welded too. Like so. Ooh, gee, we need to make more steel plates. My goodness. We're going through these like freaking candy here. God damn. Okay. I think that should be all. Pretty much. There you go. Okay. So, here That's where the second layer is gonna be. Like, oh, okay, wait, I have to weld these completely before I do anything else, otherwise we'll run into trouble. Like that. Right, and then maybe over here there's gonna be like a small staircase down, and then back here is where the actual staircase is gonna lead down, you know? So basically here we'll have to have a one of these slopes here that will allow traversing to the lower parts with one of these inverted staircases. Yeah, I think that could work. I mean, I'm not quite sure about this wall here, how this is gonna fit into the concept exactly, but that's pretty much how this is gonna look. Then here on the upper level, as I said, we'll have some computers and stuff, you know, for basically controlling the refinery. And then maybe, you know, back here we could actually pull up a wall, just a 1 block thick wall right here, and then we could fit the vents like in here and in here, so we're symmetrical again, which would be nice, right? I think that would work quite nicely. Yeah. I see how this is gonna go. Let me just grab a few more steel plates, like 2-3 more loads of steel plates, and then I think I'm gonna be done for today. But yeah, look, we have built like a little tiny nub under the hangar there. So we just managed to extend the whole shipbuilding process a little bit at least, you know? Every week, a little bit of progress. There's like a saying in German, I'm not quite sure if it's actually translatable or if there's an equivalent in English, but it's ein steter Tropf hüllt den Stein, which is basically means like a steady drip of water erodes the stone, something like that. So yeah, that's basically what the Space Engineers series is. At least for me, it's very Zen-like. It is, you know, it's just a passion project essentially. But I love it. It's kind of cool. So yeah, this is where I'm gonna fit the vent in. Again, I'm not quite sure about how this wall looks. I mean, it has to be here, otherwise there's gonna be an air leak. But do I do it like this, you know, and then just draw it up? I'm just thinking out loud here. What if? That's a good question. What if? I have an idea, I'm just not yet ready to formulate it. Do you have that sometimes where you have like scraps of ideas in your head and you actually kind of know what it is, but you cannot, if somebody would ask you what is your idea, you couldn't formulate it because it hasn't been put into sentences yet. It's kind of, I mean, even the concept is kind of hard to explain, I just realized. But yeah, sometimes I have that, where somebody asks me something, I'm like, yeah, I know the answer to this, but I cannot tell you because my brain is not ready yet to make this comprehensible for you. You know, basically my brain gives me like a series of signals that I understand, but I cannot quite translate these yet for you. It's like a foreign language. But I think I know what to do here. I'm not sure how elegant that solution will be, but we'll see. I have the feeling I'm gonna draw this wall all the way up to the ceiling, just like that, so we're steady, and actually right into the corner here. That's fine, I think. Make it look a little bit more flush, a little bit more interesting. And then I'm actually gonna delete this again because that's not gonna fit into the concept yet. Then we're gonna... Let me put this on both sides right now. Gonna put some more upper tier wall itch, or actually more floor itch in here. Like so. Right? And now I actually need some interior plates, because I need to place down a staircase, otherwise this is not gonna work. Or rather, I'm not gonna be able to see how it looks like if I don't put it down. I need a visual aid here. So I want to put that staircase like here. So one tier above. Right? Which means this will go here. That is the wrong way around, is it? This will go here. Right. And just so we have a mental image, let me just weld this and this. Of course, on the other side, this is where that tier goes up as well. And now, what I want to do... Actually, I need to weld a few more things, otherwise it's gonna drive me crazy, because I cannot make it symmetrical. And for a visual aid, it has to be symmetrical, otherwise I cannot imagine how it looks. I'm gonna give, like, something like that. Yeah, now it's coming together. I think now it's coming together. That's quite elegant, I think. We basically have, like, a double staircase. So there's one that goes down here, and then there's going to be another one of these grated staircases. Oh, let me get some construction components, because it's going to drive me mad if I cannot put it down. Let me actually get the whole bunch of materials to put it down in flesh, or in metal rather. What else do we need? I think something like that we need for all of it. Right, like so. That's gonna be here, right? And then there's gonna be some rails here, railings, I mean. That's gonna separate this. So basically, you have sectioned off back here. You have that the staircase that goes down, and right in front you have the staircase that goes down into the manufacturing area. I think that works. That is quite nice, I have the feeling. Yeah, this will work. This will work, I'm sure of it. Let me actually render? No, I'm not rendering, I'm welding. Let me weld these as well. I'm just gonna pick up a few more steel plates on the way back. Generally a few more components. Do a final welding job, and then I'm out of here for today. I'll at least weld all of these so we have a little bit of a good view, a good visual on how all of this is gonna look and feel. Actually, I need to take this away real quick, otherwise I cannot weld that. Right, there you go, perfect. And then of course on this side we'll have to put the floor up as well. So what do we need for these two here? We need about 50, 60 interior plates and about, let's say about, yeah, let's go with 50 interior, 50 construction, just to be safe. Right, and then the rest steel plates. And none of you. There we go. With that we can do quite a number on this. So there's the proper stair. Oh, damn. Yeah, I need to do that. Otherwise I will forget on the next episode. And I'm gonna be... My subconscious is not gonna be... it's not gonna be right. You know? There's gonna be negative chi in my subconscious. At least that's what I have convinced myself of. I also need to put up a light up here. I cannot forget that. Also, that is kind of ugly. That needs to be hidden as well. Well, generally, this part here needs some work too. But yeah. But I can see on a visual level how this is gonna work. Actually, I kind of have the feeling I want to at least get the base structure finished here with the two-tiered floor, so that next time I can go into basically putting in the decorations, the rails, the actual machinery, all the conveyor stuff, you know, so that next time we don't have to work on the structural details again and just can go right into actual functional design and building. I think that would be good. Well, for the most part, again. I'm not gonna completely weld the floor yet, because it's just gonna be annoying if I have to take the staircase every time. Just gonna leave myself a few access hatches, essentially. But yeah, I think you see what I mean with the way I wanted this to look. I think it looks elegant, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. There we go. Actually, this can be cut off, can't it? Yeah. This needs to go. And here we'll draw these up. Also, like that, we'll get a good sense of how narrow this is gonna be, you know, to navigate. But I think it should be alright. It should be alright to get behind the staircase, you know? Oh, Jesus, Tiki, what are you doing? Yeah, okay. There we go. Yeah. Actually, it's not that bad flying through the stairs. It kind of works. Right. Hopefully, this will work. This will be enough to actually weld everything I want to. Let me get a last push of energy. That's enough. Go. Ow. Jesus. Well done, me. Yeah, let me weld all of these. Right. And then, you know what? I'm just gonna weld this part of the floor as well. That gives us a bit more of a visual indicator of how this is gonna look. I think it looks good. I think it's going to look good.
Energy low.
With that two-tiered floor system, has something industrial about it, you know? I cannot just leave it like that. I need to weld it finished. I need to finish it today. Let's not leave things half-baked. That is not a good idea, is it? There we go. There you go. I'm just gonna swoop in and do these few welds. Like so. And then for the sake of having symmetry, we're also gonna put in that wall bit thing here where the conveyor is gonna pop out. And then again, I think next to this is gonna be a stack of like some sort of assemblers, maybe some containers. Not 100% sure about the actual configuration yet, but yeah, it's gonna be something along those lines. Let me just spend the material that I still have. Excellent. So yeah, I think that works, you know? Once this is all sectioned off with rail, that will look quite cool. Also, as soon as this whole refinery and the stuff next to it is welded, I think this is gonna look fine. Yeah, this is gonna be good. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and take care.